The Scarecrow. My name is Emma, and I'm going to tell you a story that happened to my family when I was still a teenager. My mother, father, and younger brother live in my house. This happened when my father decided to move to the countryside, away from the city. He sold the house we had and bought a small farm. My mother did not like the idea at first, but she realized that the routine and stress of the city were harming my father. The farm he had bought had a small wheat field with plenty of space to spread out, and it also had a mill to grind the wheat. Then my father would already have work to do there. At first, I thought it was really bad because it was different from the city. Everything there was far away. Going to school was terrible. The fact of moving was also bad. Being the new person in school was horrible. But apart from that, at home things were going well. Until my father started expanding the plantation. The house was very big. It had 5 rooms, basement, attic. There were also some animals, but they were few. My father knew that by selling the wheat, he could expand the business there. But he started to have problems with crows in his plantation. As soon as we arrived at the house, in the middle of the plantation there was a service hut. It was very ugly and made of wood. It had very old glass windows. I had never been there. In fact, I barely noticed the place. Until one day, returning from school, I saw a man walking in the fields from afar. I thought it was my father, and continued on my way home. But when I got home, I was scared. I saw my dad sitting in the living room watching TV. I asked him who was there on the plantation, and he got up from the couch and went with me there for us to see. When we got there, there was no one there. But I saw something horrible. It was a scarecrow that my father had hung there. He was very ugly. His face was ugly, poorly sewn, his fabric was old and moldy, his clothes dirty and ragged, and he had a bad smell too. I asked my father what that thing was. He explained that he found it in that service hut. He said that it was inside a bag and he got scared when he saw it. Due to the bad smell, he thought it was a body. Later he saw that it was a scarecrow. He said that as soon as he hung it there, the crows disappeared. I found that thing very sinister. It gave me a bad feeling. As the days went by, I always had the impression of having someone walking there, in that place. And whenever I went to see, there was no one. Until the night began to happen. I got up to drink water and go to the kitchen of the house. The window overlooked the plantation. I saw something moving among the wheat. I thought it was strange, so I watched. When suddenly, that thing ran out of there. I despaired and dropped the glass that was in my hand. In the blink of an eye, that vision was gone. And my father turned on the kitchen light to check the noise. I told him what I saw, and he didn't believe me. From then on, I started to be very afraid of the plantation. I avoided even looking there. And the night always had the impression of someone walking among the wheat. By day, looking from afar, it always seemed like there was someone there, walking. Until one day around 3 a.m., my room was on the 2nd floor, and I heard the noise of people running outside the house. It was very strange, and I decided to look out the window to see. And I saw it standing in front of my house. I could see it well. It was a man with a very ugly and deformed face, wearing clothes dirty with mud and blood. He was white and tall and thin. When he saw me at the window, he ran towards the plantation. I went to wake up my father and spoke to him, who didn't believe it either. But my mother believed. She said she also saw strange things there. My father continued expanding the plantation. Until my little brother, he said to me, "You saw him too, right?" "He who?" I asked him. underscored the young man outside. He answered me. He then told me that he often saw that man, and at night he said that he saw a monster similar to Daddy's scarecrow. It wasn't just me, it was happening to the whole family. Until one day, my mother screamed at dawn, and towards her was that horrible scarecrow, like a man, walking, moving, totally real. My father was already armed, and he shot the animal and it disappeared. After that he set fire to the scarecrow and sold the farm. We went back to town. And years later, as an adult, I went to discover the history of that place. There was a madman who lived there, who kidnapped people, killed them, and used their skin to make dolls, scarecrows, to put in his plantation. Until the local people found out and crucified him like a scarecrow to die in the plantation. Not that that doll was him, and there was some connection with that evil. And that's today's story. If you liked it, subscribe to our channel.